Hit record right now.
Boom! You should see that John Harris is recording again.
Boom!
We are recording.
Recording. Here we go, baby. Sweet. So hello, and welcome to the Rock Metal Podcast. I am your host, John Harris. On my right-hand side is my right-hand man, Gabriel.
We gotta make it electric for the hammer of the dogs.
That's right. And today on the Rock Metal Podcast, we have the Pinx, and they've got a new EP called Electric. And I have to yell it because there's an exclamation point afterwards. Electric!
Thank you for pronouncing it correctly.
You're quite welcome. Which was released on August 14th. Right now I'm being joined by Adam. We're going to share some more information about some exciting stuff that the band has got going on, a couple of tracks they've released off of this EP, what they've been up to. So, Adam, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me, guys.
Absolutely. Great to have you on. You guys have been on my radar for a while. I know when Dunk sent me the stuff and I clicked on the music video link that he sent out, I was like, I know this band. I've seen this band. Have I invited this band on before? I was doing the research. Maybe we missed each other in the past, but not today. Not today,
Yay.
Adam. But I dig your guys' sound. I dig your guys' stuff. You could say it's electric, really.
Thank you very much.
You're quite welcome. Now, I guess the juicy question that's on everybody's minds is, what you guys have been up to and how this year has treated you. Because for the music industry, it's kind of been a bit of a downer, but a lot of bands have really been making the best of it and turned it into a blessing in disguise, so to speak. And it looks like you guys have some new material that is being released. So I guess take us through this year. What did you guys have planned? How did you circumvent that? Has it been a blessing in disguise? How's the year gone for the Pinx?
I don't know about blessing in disguise. Basically, what happens when you slam a door in my face is I no longer beat my head against that door. I try to figure out another way around, let's stop pretending that door is going to be the way. It's been locked. So we had some plans for this year. The first plan was to record an EP. Our manager, Juliet, said, I want you to write singles, just singles, just a bunch of singles, and then record those singles, and we're going to make an EP out of it. And it basically, the idea was that it was going to be a regular Pinx record, but minus all of the things that I usually consider like the essential variety, like a little bit of soul, a little bit of like psychedelic metal, some experiments, maybe some more like singer-songwritery type stuff, or just whatever that like kind of expands our Venn diagram just a little bit without confusing the fans too much. So I usually do try to write some concise singles and then surround those singles with not filler, but stuff to make the album more interesting. This time we just did the first part. And the idea was to put out an EP so that we could tour, probably the U.S., so that we could tour with, any number of our buddies that has far bigger bands than ours. Just be able to hop on a tour, have a new product in hand, a few more up-tempo songs that we can add to the set, and just travel the country and do what we do. And our manager just felt like attempting to do that with the record that we had put out a year earlier would have been some cold leftovers. So she wanted something hot, something brief, and something with a lot of fire in it. So that's what we came up with. And then the whole touring idea went completely out the window once the shows were gone. And I got to writing. I just started going down into the studio every day. And I started to realize that some of these songs that I'm writing, even though I kind of started the Pinx thinking this is going to be my solo project, but it'll also be a band. I've recorded 3 albums worth of material this year and that EP. And, I don't know what else to do except record more songs. We're recording our 4th album right now, like the Pinx are. So,
well, you're chatting with me, and so once that's done, you can cross that off the list. You can put it into the bucket.
Mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished. You wanted to do something hot, brief, and full of fire. And I would say that coming on to the Rock and Roll Podcast, for a lot of people, could be something hot, brief, and full of fire. So
I could see that. What say you, Gabriel?
what say you, son?
Well, I think you guys should make a album called "Slam a Door in My Face," and the second song should be called "Please Slam a Door in My Face."
Please slam a door in my face.
I am into it. I am so into it.
Yeah, there we go.
It's about
Beautiful.
like most of my album titles.
All right. Fantastic. A little bit of the hammer of the dogs, I'll tell you what. So, okay. So Juliet says, write an album that's not like what you usually write. And you thought, okay, so we're not going to have anything. It expands the Venn diagram. So you said, soul, psychedelic, experimental, singer-songwriter. Now, what was that like? What was that like? Did you really have to take another inspection at the songs that you were writing, or you're pretty clear when you're writing, this is a single, and then this one is not a single? Like, is there pretty clear delineation in your mind between songs, or how did
sort of. What she wanted was basically 4 or 5 singles with no messing around. And I can get into that assignment pretty easily. But you can't sit down to write that song. I just put myself in the mind of like, I'm just going to write the easiest to understand, most rockin' things I possibly can. And aside from that, I mean, Hammer of the Dogs came out. I was not supposed to write that song. That's one of like the psychedelic metal songs that normally, I mean, I recorded that for a solo record. Chance came over to do a guitar solo on it because I wanted him to guest on the record. And he was like, this is going to be on the Pinx record, right? And I was like, no, this is actually going to be on the solo record. He was like, no, this is going to be on the Pinx record. Like Chance knew better than I did that it needed, like, even though the EP was supposed to be 5 singles, 2.5 to 3.5 minute long, pop rock masterpieces, which I'm a huge fan of those, like all, stuff like the Moves Omnibus or anything by the Kinks, like, yeah, I'll write a rock song. And he was like, nah, this is rockin'. Let's put this on the EP. So we had the guys play on it and replace my tracks that I'd already recorded. But here's how it works for me. The song starts to come out, and right around the time I hit that first chorus, I go, I think I know what this is going to be. Sometimes I'm still wrong. Sometimes I'm wrong right up until somebody else hears it. But to me, I can tell this is probably a single. Or this is the first song on a record. Or this is going to be the next to last song on the record because it's really heady. Like it's, some of them make you think, some of them are challenging, So I didn't have to get in a different headspace so much as my, like, right around the first chorus of the song, like verse, intro, chorus, that kind of thing. Like right around then I'd go, this is going to go on the EP. This is probably good and go on a record, or this other thing is an experiment and we have no idea.
Mm-hmm. And then if you need an SAT score of at least 1,200, you can listen at this point in the record.
Well, I get it. But it's kind of funky, like challenging people really, really hardcore first song, Yeah. Like when you're trying to get your foot in the door, you don't want to start trying to seem like you're too full of yourself.
This is true. This is very true. Now, well, I guess I kind of foiled the whole plan because evidently there was no touring that was going to be happening, and who knows when that's going to be happening anytime soon as far as that's concerned.
All bets are off.
Yeah, exactly. So you guys have now recorded 3-4 albums worth of material this year. So I guess that brings me into my next question. What is the plan then for the rest of the year? Are you guys just going to keep releasing albums the year that you guys went Steve Vai and released like 4 albums in 1 year?
Well, I've already released 3 albums this year as of last week as a solo artist.
There you go.
My other like main persona as the Pinx, as the rock guy. I'm sorry, as the rock metal guy.
There you
go. We're recording another album. It's going to be a big one. Now, I mean, watch it come out in 2025, and it's only got 6 songs on it. But right now, as far as I know, it's going to be out sometime this winter or early spring. And it's going to have a lot of songs on it. It's probably going to be a double LP. We're probably really going to press vinyl again. It'll probably come out along with the vinyl of our first record, Look What You Made Me Do, which I told you Gabriel nailed my song album title style. We're just going to keep on recording. I'm not going to worry about trying to book live shows or socially distant shows or anything like that. Like, what I want to do is wake up in the morning and have my coffee and go downstairs and explore and just make new songs, because that is what is solving the riddles in my brain right now. Like, everybody's going crazy from being locked up. Everybody's going crazy from other people not locking up. Everybody's going crazy for one reason or another. We're convincing ourselves of ghosts that aren't maybe there. So in my case, the best treatment for that is for me to go downstairs into my pretty nice recording studio that I have set up and just record. Make a physical graffiti sized rock record and let it out into the world, regardless of whether we can play shows or not. Now, I'd like to film a performance, and this is probably tipping my hand. I'd like to film a performance somewhere cool and edit it and put it out and sell tickets to it online. Nothing expensive, not trying to gouge anybody, just trying to make it worth something. Because whatever it is will have some pretty good production value.
Well, that's good. And one of the next questions I was going to ask then is the Pinx doing something then, like, say, what are some things that bands have been doing? Acoustic sets, live streams, live Q&As. Have you guys been doing stuff to that effect?
We've been doing interviews. And when I can meet up with the other guys, or sometimes we're just trading song ideas by just recording voice notes on our phones and sending them to each other and just trying to stay inspired, stay creative. But we're working on the thing that we were just talking about, like trying to get some kind of a live show up online, for whatever. And people, please correct me if I'm wrong. I kind of, and no judgment against any of my peers, I kind of feel like we've all seen enough of the dude sitting there at his house in his flannels, in a corner of his house, live streaming an acoustic song by himself. And some people are just itching to do that. Some people are just like, oh man, I got to play for people. I need the feedback. And I don't really need the feedback. I just want to keep on creating. I just want to make what I want to make and put it out into the world the way that I want to put it out, which has worked almost okay for almost 15 years now.
Well, there we go. And I wrote this down, The Ghosts That Maybe Aren't There, and that could be another track title or album title, The Ghosts That Maybe Aren't There.
We'll have to run that past Gabriel.
Yeah, we will. Is that okay, son? Can they do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
They can make 2 albums.
Yeah.
Ghosts That Maybe Aren't There and Slam a Door on My Face.
Yes.
Exactly. And I also put forward riddles in my brain. Just that's it. Not solving, but just riddles in my brain.
Well, you're getting to see a little bit of how my mind works. The lyric mode never really came off. I kind of apologize for that.
Well, it's okay. Now, these 2 tracks, It's Electric and Hammer of the Dogs, since the whole EP is singles, how did you go about deciding these were the ones that were going to head out into the world first?
I didn't. We wrote those songs. There's 2 co-writes between me and Chance McCall, the other guitarist in the band. and then I wrote 3, and it's kind of not up to me. I handed over to the people, handed it to the manager, handed it to the publicist, and then just trust whoever gets a hold of it to know better than I. Because as I've stated several times, like, I'm just making the stuff. If you want to make it a single and make a video of it, cool. Tell me where to stand. I'll stand there. I'll wear something kind of cool and I'll jump around like we're doing a show. But I don't know how qualified I am to pick the singles myself. I think, I try to keep the quality up for everything. So I was a little surprised when it was like Hammer of the Dogs single. And I'm like, really? It's like, that's the one thing on there that's not a single. But again, other people know better than I do. I'm just making the stuff.
I'm just here, man. Where's the free, where's the buffet at? Where's the free, where's the sandwich platter?
Yeah.
Where's the cafe?
Yeah. Where's the cafe, baby? Sweet. Okay. So maybe lyrically, if what's the theme? Is there anything tying the singles together? Or are they just quite literally each song is its own story? Maybe we should start with It's Electric. What is this track about? Is it just about plug it in and rocking out?
Yeah, it's that, and I'm sure you know what the phrase rock and roll actually means. Doing it. So that's kind of what that's about, and just like how it can be physical and spiritual at the same time. I didn't go too deep on that one. I just tried to, let a rock song be what it wanted to be. Trying to kind of get out of the way of it a little bit. Sorry, I don't have a deeper answer for you on that one.
Well, now I know, thanks to you, Adam, why rock and roll is the devil's music.
Right. Exactly. It's not just the tritones.
It most certainly is not. Well, geez Louise. Okay, now Hammer of the Dogs. This sounds serious. This sounds almost like Pink Floyd-ish. Like, what is Hammer of the Dogs? Yeah, what's going on there? What's Hammer of the Dogs?
How long is your podcast, sir? That's let me try to do this as quickly as possible. And I hope I don't just paraphrase the lyrics too much. So I suffer from depressive episodes, and I'm evolving in my reaction to these depressive episodes. For years, I would get really tense and upset when I would wake up and like, I'm depressed. And then it kind of graduated a little bit to depression is here. Depression is with me. I am not depressed, but it is here.
Right.
Kind of trying to externalize it just a little bit. And then I'm trying to be kind to it and myself when it comes. A few months ago, I had a vision of the cedars behind my house kind of leading to a doorway. And in the dream, the cedar forest kind of represented my depression. And as I went deeper into it, I found a gate. And behind the gate was some sort of monster. And all of this represents like that depression can seem sinister, and the very deepest, darkest part of it is like some sort of a monster. So in the song, I'm going off to fight this monster. And the way to defeat it is not by fighting it, but to kind of love it. Like, love your depression. Mm-hmm. And I decided to love my depression a while back, and it kept its claws off of me for a surprisingly long time because of that approach. Somewhere in there, in that explanation I just dropped, is kind of the keys to this song. So it's about fighting depression, not with a sword, but with love.
Makes sense. It reminds me of a Zen story where somebody came to visit a Zen master and they were angry and they slammed the door, and the Zen master said, "Go apologize and tell the door that you love it." And the person said, "That's ridiculous." And the Zen master said, Well, you were angry with the door. Is it not ridiculous to be angry with the door?
Well, I'm also gonna slam a door in these dogs' faces.
That's right. So, yeah, I mean, that kind of reminded me of that. You know, using language to either create space or assignment, as to go from a psychological perspective. If I say I am Canadian, and I also say I am depressed, even though we don't necessarily think, well, I'm assigning that level of identity to it. I am. If I am Canadian and I am, you know, all these things that I say I am, and I also put I am angry, well, then I'm angry just as much as I am Canadian. That's not true.
Right. Right. Exactly. You just have to. Words have power. You have to watch it.
It's very true. Very true, my good man. But yeah, no, that was really good sesh. I enjoyed that. I also looked up Juliet on the internet. She looks like a very powerful, up and coming young lady in the Atlanta scene. So you are.
I do what she says.
Beautiful. I think we covered just about everything, though, Adam. We covered It's Electric, which has got I have to yell it because it has an exclamation point.
Thank you.
Of course.
Hammer of the Dogs, COVID, you as both the Pinx and as yourself, and the
Slam the door in the face.
Slamming the door in the face.
Yep.
Maybe the ghosts that aren't there, riddles in my brain. We've chatted about tons of stuff. We've packed it into not even 22 minutes yet.
Perfect.
Exactly. So we've got the human attention span. And before we lose everybody's attention span, is there anything that I didn't ask that you were hoping I was going to ask and that you wanted to chat about?
I don't think so. I'm just super glad that anybody out there is investing in and interested in rock. And let's take the rock out of it. Let's in music, because to me, music really is the key to everything that's happening right now.
I'd agree with that. Son, you want to go ahead and hit stop?
Yep. Sure indeed.